Right, and it's basically all parts, you know, of these things that we're working through.
They agree to pay all charges for water services as are fixed from time to time by the governing body until such a time as I shall direct such service to be discontinued. Number two, the town shall make the connection from its water main to my property line and install a meter to be provided by the town. I agree to pay the town for the connection fee, water meter, impact fees, and any security deposit as may be fixed by the governing body by resolution or ordinance. The work of extending the water connection from the nearest point to which the town installs the meter to the place at which the water is to be used shall be my responsibility and shall be performed at my sole cost. The location of the extension to the water of the line to the owner's property shall be decided solely by the town. The town has the right to inspect the culinary system upon my premises, and if it should not be approved, I will cause the same to be corrected and improved at my own expense to meet the requirements of the town or of any other governmental agency having jurisdiction to regulate the water system within the town. I am bound by the rules, regulations, resolutions, and ordinances. The main purpose for the water is to be used for culinary use. The town shall have free access at reasonable times to the lines and equipment installed under this agreement, including that on my property. In the event that you don't pay, then it's another thing about that. You have get a notice, and within 5 written days, you get a well, this one says 18% fee.
So then
You
they
don't
redid
pay.
that in 2008.
Right, and all it
So-
did was, you know, it included everything before.
Right. It's not changing it.
No, it didn't change anything unless it was in conflict with
But I think this covers, don't you think?
a lot of it, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. What I'm looking at is making sure, streamlining it a little bit, taking some of these things and including it on the application
Right.
process.
Right.
This ordinance, or this resolution, 2008,
Okay,
it was to eliminate speculation.
Right.
Of
right. So you couldn't buy a hookup and
Right.
hold on to it
Speculate.
and kind of worry about that. But we get down to delinquents, and like I said, you have to pay your water bill or it's gonna be disconnected. And also, we get down to, okay, well, that covers just about everything.
So
And
we will do the policy on the delinquent bills?
yeah, I think so. I'd like to see it on the application so that we've got that on there so that, I mean, just so there's no question,
Right.
you know, about some of this stuff, you know, because finding some of these things sometimes and reading the whole thing, you know,
Does it state in there how a leak will be
dealt with.
attended to or dealt with? Yeah.
Section 12,
Page 5 of the
2002.
2002, right at the top, number 7.
The town shall have the right to discontinue the water system service at its election pursuant to the 5 days written notice. Oh my gosh, I need glasses.
What?
No, it's okay, I'll just move longer. And any reconnection fee imposed are paid in full or until any failure to conform to the ordinance or regulations issued thereunder is eliminated. So I guess you get a written notice, and if you don't comply, you get turned off after 5 days.
Is there a reconnection fee?
Yeah, it doesn't say,
It doesn't say what?
it doesn't say on here what it,
Bricks,
$150.
$150.
No,
is it?
I don't know.
Oh.
But then
see, and that's, you
then
know,
last, was it fall that we,
We said
I think there was,
reconnection fee.
yeah.
I think that was
set
a
new one,
discussion,
but
wasn't it?
No.
We
said
didn't,
it said it.
You did
well,
say
it was already set at 100,
Well, I think we lowered it.
and then we lowered it, a new thing, but
I could look it
The,
up.
the biggest controversy was the fact that, can you shut it off, and we decided that you could. And according to our policy, just if you follow our policy, that after they receive their notice, if after, what is it, was it 5 days?
5 days.
Over. But does it say in there how delinquent it has to be, is it 30 or 60 days? That, I think
I didn't see that.
we send them out after.
Oh, you're delinquent after the first 30 days, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's due, you know, upon.
How long do you go before you
But
shut
I
it off?
You gotta give them a couple of weeks grace period, don't you?
But I think it said something.
Well, that's what it does talk about.
Like Jones, 90 days.
Yeah. Seems make sense to me.
Bills will be considered, does it
It
say?
says the statement shall specify the amount of the bill for the water service and the place of the payment and date due. If any person fails to pay the water charges within 30 days from the date due, the clerk or superintendent shall give the customer notice in writing of intention to discontinue the service to the consumer unless the consumer pays the bill in full within writing, within 5 days from the date of the notice. It says if the culinary water service is thereafter discontinued for failure to make payment, then before the water service to the premises shall be again provided, all delinquent water charges and reconnection fees or charges must be paid to the town or arrangements made for their payment in matter satisfactory to the town. A reconnection charge for turning the water on shall be paid before redelivery of water. Until amended by a resolution, there shall be a charge of $50 for redelivery of the water.
So we did amend that, I believe, this fall, only because we didn't know that.
So it is 50?
Says 50
This
in
bid,
here.
the
and,
one we said was 25,
in the old two.
but since that's all there. So we're going to follow what's already written?
Right, you know, we want, I mean, we're staying with the
I think we ought to stay with what we got, but condense it down to everybody can understand it without reading it.
right, in the
I think-
application.
I think you should make it 60 days past due.
We have to make a resolution.
Okay.
So we're not trying
Well,
to, we're
actually,
not
what
trying to make
happens is it's
any,
30, you know, when they get their bill, and sometimes they don't pay it till after that 30, so it shows past due. So when I send out the bills, it's actually in the second month, which
Yeah.
is 60, but
Right,
it's
you're
really
right.
still, so that might count too much.
basically, we're not trying to make any changes to the ordinance, you know, but we're just trying to streamline the,
Just wanna know what we have.
right, you know, so it's, you know, kind of clean, and clear. Penalties, everything like that.
So do you want this,
Who's gonna do
part of
that?
the
I don't
public,
think so.
you don't want
Well-
bulletin or something?
Well, what we'll do, like I said, if you want to make submissions to what you think the application should look like, you know, if there's something that you feel, you know, kind of got a rough draft going. I mean, we do have an application already, but I think we should put some of these key points in there. We can work on that, you know. We've been working on it all along, so I think we
That
can.
one part that did the different things on the water bills that we
I
sent
would give
out.
that to me.
Post that.
Sure, that'd be good.
We can put that message on the water bill.
And there's a lot of that we can
See
do,
the ordinance.
you know, so that's in there. So, you know, basically, you know, it's,
May I suggest,
uh-huh.
call that person before you go to turn the water on?
Yeah, we're gonna be civil about it, you know, it's
Sure.
just that we wanna be able to, I'd like to have something in hand, you know,
Right.
you know, cause the application to me, it does say that they understand what our ordinances and policies are, and that they are to abide by those, but I wanna make sure, you know, I'd like to, you know, kinda have it in hand when,
Right.
you know, in the event that, you know, so that they understand it too,
Sure.
when they're applying for water, and they know what they're getting into. you know what their responsibilities are too. So we'd like to, you know,
It is over.
it's just basically, you know, it's just, what we're trying to do is familiarize ourselves with all these